Julie here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go through color toning some black and white images. I recently did a post on how to edit black and white images beyond just hitting the black and white button in Lightroom, and today I thought I would take it a step further again and show you how to go through and tone or colorize your black and white images, even dual tone if you wish to. So my first step is going to be, so I've done a basic edit, I'm just going to click on black and white and I'm going to change it to a black and white image. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go down to my black and white color mixer, and I am just going to play with the channels just a little bit. I want to bring out some colors, or bring out some tones in these colors, I should say. So once I've done that, I can then go to my tone curve if I wish to, and I could bring in more blues and yellows if I wish to do it that way. So you can play around with the various channels in the tone curve. The other thing that I really love to do is to come into the color grading. So you can put colors, so if you want a dual tone, for instance, I'm going to put some blues into my shadows. Then if I click over to my highlights, I can put some yellows in my highlights. So that gives you a dual toned black and white image. You can play with different tones. So if you want, say, orange, and let's go back here to teal, you can do that as well. So you can play with any tones that you want to. You can change the luminance here, so you can make it darker or lighter. You can swap the blending as well, so how much of it you want into the image. So if you have a look at the blues or the teals here, if I bring the blending up, it drags the color through, it saturates it more, and that's dropping the balance between the shadows and the highlights. But if I come back to my black and white layer, there we go, I had my head in the way. If I go to the global color grading, you can put a specific color onto your images. So of course you can go all the way through, but if you're looking for, you want sepia, or you want coffee toned, or you want aubergine, or you want selenium, or you want cyanotype, or any of the other vintage colors that you would often get with film. So I'm going to just put it on sepia, and you can change the luminance. You can put, if you're after a specific color, you can. You can also change the intensity by playing around with that slider there. Now from here, I can also come in and I can do things like adding a vignette, which you quite often had on some of the older ones. You can also add some grain. So if you're really wanting to make a vintage look image, adding some grain, and you can play with, so if I zoom in, so you can adjust the amount of grain that you want. So you can have it very, very grainy, or you can have almost no grain. Let's just leave that in the middle for the moment. Now you can play with the size of your grain. So you can have it quite small, or you can have it quite large. So that's quite small. Then you've got the roughness of the grain. So it just depends on how much grain you want, how, if you want it rough, if you want it a little bit more fine in how you've got your grain, you can play around with those there. But definitely if I am adding the color grading in, it is really doing some beautiful things to your images. And you can still muck around with the color channels. I reset that before and I didn't mean to. And of course you have also got your tone curve that you can play with as well. So there's lots of different things that you can do to really take your black and white photos from one look to a completely different look, giving them a different look, a different feel, really making them appear more vintage than the original photos. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.